Let me start by showing you a picture of a woman in her early 20s. Nothing unusual, just a normal girl, right? Now let me give you a little backstory. It was a rainy night in late March with conditions not suitable for driving. On her way home from work with limited visibility and sleek roads, she gets into a car crash. This accident manages to break some bones, ranging from her hip down to her ankle. After intense surgery, her doctor prescribes a high dosage of oxycodone, which is known as a very addicting painkiller. Now let's look at her 2 years later. We can see that there's been a lot of negative effects changing her overall appearance, and this is caused because of prescription drug abuse. So what I want to talk to you about today is the effects and dependencies that prescription drugs cause on the human body. We all need to be aware of these problems as they could one day save us or a family member from prescription drug addiction. According to an article in USA Today, in 2011, 6.1 million people abused narcotic pain pills. So I'll give a brief background of the type of people who are prescribed with painkillers, the type of painkillers being used, what prescription drug addiction means, and the effects that prescription drugs have. So first off, let me give you some information on the people who are prescribed with painkillers. People with chronic pain such as back pain, cancer, AIDS. A specific example of chronic pain would be rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder that causes inflammation in the joints. That's just to name a few, but chronic pain is any type of pain that impairs you to live a normal lifestyle. This is not to be mistaken with the pain you get when you stub your toe. But the pain, sure, it hurts as hell, but that pain gradually goes away. Chronic pain is constantly there. An article titled "Bad News for Patients with Chronic Pain" in the USA Today had this to say: for millions of Americans living with chronic pain, long-term use of painkillers at high doses is often the only way some patients can live the agony of cancer and other diseases and lead functional lives. Another example is sport-related injuries, such as broken bones. So this picture is like an actual picture of my brother-in-law's leg. He would play soccer on his spare time, and as a result from an aggressive play, he got injured. They broke his fibula and tibia. So if you don't know what the fibula and tibia is, this is the fibula, and that's the tibia. So that's like the main bones that run down your leg. This is like a recent picture, like it's starting to heal, but he still has that bar that runs down his leg, and it actually causes a lot of pain for him. So it's been about like 4 years, and he's still, till this day, it's not that easy for him to walk up like normal stairs or just to do normal things in an overall daily basis. There are many different types of painkillers that are prescribed to help with such pains, so let's talk about some of the painkillers that are being used. These painkillers that are being prescribed have many different names and range by pain relief, but all have one thing in common, and that is that they are all opium-based, which help relieve pain at a much larger scale. Morphine is powerful and is used as a painkiller and sedative. So an example of this would be when you're getting surgery, and they put you to sleep so you won't be able to feel any incisions that they're making. Codeine is weaker than morphine and is also used as a painkiller. An example would be when you have like a really raspy cough, they prescribe codeine.
Sorry.
Hydrocodone, often combined with acetaminophen. An example of this would be Vicodin, and usually is prescribed with patients with small surgeries such as getting your wisdom teeth pulled out. Oxycodone is a narcotic painkiller. An example of these would be Oxycontin, Percocet, and Percodan, are all used to help aid chronic pain and injuries. So you might think to yourself, I'll never get addicted to a painkiller, but from what I just explained, these people don't choose to take it. It's as a result to a situation that nobody can prepare themselves for. This being said, let's take a look at how it goes from being used to relieve pain caused by an injury or chronic pain to being abused in a way you need to take it to function. Many Americans suffer from prescription drug addiction. What is addiction? According to Nora Valco at HealthWorks, addiction is a chronic, relapsing brain disease characterized by compulsive drug seeking and use despite devastating consequences. This meaning that even though you know it's the wrong thing to do and it's hurting your body as a whole, your brain is actually in need of the prescription drug and depends on that drug to feel normal. The brain gets stimulated by the feel-good ingredient that these painkillers carry, and after time breaks down your natural occurring serotonin and dopamine, which are the cause of your natural feel-good emotions. So if your brain can't make these natural chemicals, it starts depending on the prescription drug to make them. This, as a result, causes your brain to think it's a normal function that it needs to go through in order to feel normal. What many people don't understand is that once you take a substance that produces or causes more dopamine and serotonin to be created in your brain, it causes an unbalance in your body's natural algorithm. This creates a sense of craving and eating all at one time. So let's take a closer look at the effects that are caused by these prescription drugs. These prescription drugs are so addictive because of the active ingredient opium. Opium derives from a plant called the poppy. And when correctly harnessed, we get that of many of the opiate-based prescription drugs. So what they do is they scrape this secretion right here that they have, and they dry it up, and that's what the opium is. So this is before it blossoms, so that's like the ingredient that they use. So what happens is that the prescription drug attaches itself to these receptors. So this is like an actual your neurons. So what happens is that the opium gets released into your receptors here, and it blocks off the pain, and it produces a sense of euphoria. So you're constantly feeling good and happy. So the major downside are the effects that the opiate-based pills have, such as slow reflexes, raspy speech, sluggish movements, slow breathing, cold skin, nausea, constipation, and weakened immune system. Taking these medications for pain management can lead to physical and neurological changes that require your body and brain to have these drugs. In a documentary titled The Oxycodone Express, a mom who lost a son to oxycodone addiction had this to say: "We are defenseless against the disease of addiction, but we will keep trying." And that's a perfect way to summarize this up, because once your body depends on this drug, it's hard to shake off. Withdrawal from opiate-based prescription drugs can cause severe illness and sometimes even death. That's why majority of consumers seek help when they realize they cannot stop and need the help of being in a controlled environment where they won't do harm to themselves. According to the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, the number of people seeking care for abuse of prescription painkillers rose 400% from 1998 to 2008. So today I explain the major consumers that are taking these highly addicting prescription drugs and the effects that these type of drugs have on the human body. So with this new information, I hope to change yours or a family member's life before it gets out of hand.
Lee, what did you think?
Overall, it was a good presentation. I liked the attention bias in the beginning. The pictures were very helpful. It helped me correlate the information he was giving us throughout the presentation. The thesis statement was clear in the beginning. Topics were also clear when he was going to cover it, what he was going to cover. The transitions were good. He cited some sources very clearly. Again, it was very informative, and he had a good conclusion. The only thing I would advise you on doing is looking at the audience more often. Also, like you're reading your presentation off your, I believe your outline, so maybe a little bit of practicing will help. Other than that, it was a good presentation.
Okay, I'll echo most of the things that you said. I thought that the introduction was a pretty good start. I like the visual idea there. You do have a clear statement of what your goal is. The purpose is kind of broad. I did think that there were an awful lot of supporting points, so it sounded like there were 5 or 6 points, and that's a lot of information to go through. And if there was a way to condense that more, I think that would make it easier to follow. I like the fact that you have consistent research